Hey y'all, so before I get this video started, let me give a quick shout out. These were the first 3 comments in my last video. If you want to be featured in my next video, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell and come show me some love when I drop a new video. What's up, you guys? It's KeAmber Vaughn, aka CoachKe, coming back to you with another video. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you're not new, welcome back. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and also tap the bell so that you are notified of every new video that I post. So as you guys can tell by the title of this video, it's time for me to finally do my August budget with me video. If you guys are new to my channel, I get paid every other Wednesday, so I like to start my budget with the first Wednesday paycheck within that particular month. So for August, my first paycheck that has an August date is August 12th. So my August budget will actually start on August 12th, and we will be going all the way until September 8th. So as you guys can see, I've already laid my stickers out. Again, if you're new, I'm not really a whole sticker person. I do the bare minimum and we keep it at that. So I've put the stickers down for my bills. At this point, all I'm going to do is go ahead and write them in. I do not have a lot of bills at all. I like to keep it that way. Ever since I became debt free, I just completely minimized things as much as I possibly could, just for the sake of doing it. Like, what's the point of having all this money going out for no reason, pretty much. So the first bill that I have is due on the 21st. That is my car insurance, and that is through Geico. That is a bill that I actually just cash out my mom the money for. On the 29th, I have a bill for $20. I hope this doesn't smudge. And that is going to be the stock club. And then for September 1st, I have health insurance. And that is $165.22. Because I am an agency nurse and I only work part-time hours, I don't have access to health insurance, so I have mine through the marketplace. And then I also have dental insurance for $9.54. I do finally have that new bill. It will start actually September 1st, but what I'm going to do at the end of my July budget is actually take that $300 and put it off to the side for September. That way, basically from here on out, in every budget for every paycheck, I'm just going to save $150 towards it. So I'm going to write that in here. So I'm basically a month ahead on those. And those are all of my bills, y'all. That's it. That's it. That's all. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the next page. This is a budget planner that I created myself. I always get that question. And I'm actually going to go to an erasable pen now. I couldn't use an erasable pen on the glossy stickers. Okay. So the $300 is going to go here. And then car insurance, and I'm going to zoom you guys in just a bit as soon as I'm done with this part. Then we have the stock club for $20. Then dental insurance, going to be $9.54, and then health insurance is $165.22. 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5. All right, so what I'm going to do now is go ahead and total up what my fixed expenses are thus far. So I like to do my budget in different ways, because there are different ways for you to be able to see how your money's going to flow throughout the month. So the first thing that I like to do is calendarize my expenses, like you guys already saw. That kind of gives me a gist of, okay, here's a payday, and in between this payday and this payday, outside of saving this $150 for the half of that $300, and then my car insurance, and then of course, like, you know, gas and groceries and stuff like that, that's all I have between these 2 paydays. Then I can see from this paycheck to the end of the month, you know, what I have coming out then. So then the next thing I like to do is kind of write it out in a list form, like what you guys see right now. And that should be right. 624.42. Oh, I had to pay my health insurance twice last month. All right, I'm just gonna redo this real quick to make sure. All right, yeah, so my total fixed expenses is $624.42, and at this point I'm going to zoom you guys in because now we have to do a little bit of math. So if you're new to my channel, I budget a lot different than what you see other budgeters do on YouTube and probably everywhere, because this is a budgeting method I came up with myself when I was getting out of debt. And essentially I did this because I thought it was very important for me to save while getting out of debt. And I'm a numbers person, so things being extremely simple end up being a lot more difficult for me. So I like to think about my budget in percentages, like how much of my income after I pay for my fixed expenses, my bills, how much do I need to keep in my checking account for my everyday expenses, gas, groceries, stuff like that. What percentage do I need to go ahead and safely send off to savings? And then when I was still in debt, basically whatever was left over after everyday expenses, I split in half. Half went to savings, half went to debt. That helped with the psychology of paying off debt, because when I would send off a $300 payment towards debt, when I was saving $300 at the same time, it just made it way easier, and it psychologically helped to send off that big payment. So you guys are going to see, but I don't go into as much detail on YouTube because I do have a very extensive video showing this method. It's step 9 of my financial wellness program. It's completely free. That step of the program is free, and it's in my financial empowerment community. You should have seen it come across the screen already. So the first thing I need to do is figure out what my income is. So I have a couple of paydays. I'll end up getting paid on August 12th for my job. And I work part-time. I basically work 25 hours a week in a low-paying psych facility. And I only work part-time because that's all I need to survive. And I don't like stressing myself out working more hours for no reason. For what? I don't got no bills, for real. So me working these small amount of hours or short number of hours, I can still pay my bills and still be able to save. Like even with this new $300 a month bill, I could still save probably $600 to $700 a month. So on this paycheck, this is a full paycheck. And then when I get paid on the 26th, there was a day last week, I think it was this past Thursday, where I got to work 15 minutes late. So I just went ahead and took that $7.50 out, and we just gonna leave it at that. And then my YouTube paycheck is $249.49. I take 20% out in taxes, which is gonna be $49.89. So that's gonna leave me with $199.60. And I'm just gonna make sure that math is right real quick. It is. Okay, so $1166.38, $1158.88, and then $199.60 is going to give me an income of $2524.86. So I'm going to go ahead and write that in here. So once I figure out my projected income, I'm going to subtract my expenses, because like I said, after I earn enough money to cover my fixed expenses, that is when I start doing my math to figure out, you know, how much do I have left over, so I can start divvying that up between my fixed or my variable expenses and then savings. And of course, like I said, debt if I was still in debt, but I ain't. So that's going to leave me with $1,944. Not too shabby. So as far as variable expenses go, I don't spend a lot of money, y'all. And most of the time I completely overestimate my variable expenses. But I guess it's just a just in case kind of thing, because maybe I'll spend more money than I normally do. I don't know. So for groceries, I'm going to do $250. Personal household, I'm going to do $125. Restaurants, I'm going to do $125. Personal household is like hair products, personal care items like exfoliants for my skin or lotion, different things like that. Let's see, restaurants, gas, I'm going to do $70. It usually only takes me filling up really one time most of the time, but now that I'm back at work, 2 times usually during the month will work. And then shopping, I'm gonna do $200 because I do need to possibly purchase some things for a Mexico trip that we're going on. It's a bachelorette trip. So I want to purchase a couple of things, just a couple of swimsuits and outfits, nothing major. Miscellaneous, I'm going to do 300 because I do want to do a little small staycation, just one night in this really, really nice hotel here, just to kind of like unwind a little bit. You guys know, if you keep up with my channel, I've been going through some personal stuff and it's starting to kind of, you know, subside a bit. But I just want to do a little staycation. I could take the money out of my miscellaneous / investment sinking fund or my vacation or travel sinking fund. But if I can fit something into my budget, I'd rather do it that way than take it out of a sinking fund. That's just me personally. So supplements should only be $40 because I should only need my eFem supplements. And then business, I'm just going to do 100. I haven't spent anything out of that category in quite a while. So let's see how much we need for variable expenses. And this calculator app is literally called the calculator. I always get that question. 340 and then 100. So my total expenses for variable expenses is going to be $1,210. So again, I think about my budget as far as like percentages go. So I have to ask myself, what percentage of my net income after I pay for my bills, what percentage of that income is going to stay in my checking account to cover my variable expenses? The way I figure that out is the total budgeted expenses. You divide that by your net income, which is the $1,944. And that's going to get me 63.66. If you're still in debt, I always tell people to round up to the nearest 10%. So I would go up to 70%. And that's just because while you're still in debt, a lot of times you're still overspending in different areas and stuff. It just kind of covers you just to make sure you don't send too much money towards your debt and then you end up being short on your actual budget. So since I'm not in debt, and also because I don't spend a lot of money to begin with, this is more than enough. So I just go up to the nearest 5%. That's going to give me 65%. So because I went from 63.6 up to 65%, the amount that I have to budget for my variable expenses is not going to be $1,210. Why? Because I went up about almost 1.5%. So in order to figure out the amount of money total that I'm giving myself with that little bit of cushion just in case I overspend, I'm going to take that same $1,964 or $1,900.44, not 64, and I'm going to multiply that by the percentage, and that's going to give me 1235.28. So it just gives me about $25 of overspending just in case. So that means for savings, because I am 100% debt free, I always like to write this in every month just as a reminder to myself and just like a little small celebration. Like, that's a pretty good feat, y'all. No matter how old you are, it is a good feat, especially when, you know, you actually were in debt at some point. So what I have left over, 1,944 minus 1235.28 is going to give me 665.16 to save. Now I'm not going to fill out my savings portion just yet. You guys will get a totally separate video for that because I have to take into account what I'm still spending in this July budget, taken out of my sinking funds and stuff. So we'll flip that, and then we're gonna do a paycheck to paycheck budget. So this is another way to kind of think about your money. I like doing paycheck to paycheck budgets, even as an overview at the beginning of the month, just because, again, it's a way to see how your money is going to flow. It's one thing to see it on a calendar, but when you do a paycheck to paycheck budget, you're literally taking what your income is for that paycheck cycle. So for that 2 weeks for me, since I get paid every 2 weeks, and then I'm going to subtract my bills, subtract my everyday expenses. And then from there, I kind of know, like, okay, I might be negative in this paycheck, but positive in this one, and vice versa. So the first paycheck is going to be August 12th. And that is going to take me all the way until my next paycheck. And since the paycheck is August 26th, I'm going to say to the 25th. And again, that's going to be $1166.38. In between this time, I do get my YouTube paycheck, and I don't really put anything in as far as my YouTube paycheck goes. As far as like bills, I don't account for any bills coming out of there. And we're gonna do the $249.49. All right, so I'm not gonna do the next one just yet. So I want to make sure I give myself enough space. Okay, so out of this first paycheck, I'm gonna first do the budget, which is the gas, groceries, all of that. So with that, we have $12.10 total for the month. I'm going to divide that in half because I got 2 paycheck cycles. So that is going to give me $605 per 2 weeks, every 2 weeks. $605. And then the only thing I have coming out here is going to be car insurance. And that is $129.66. And then of course, we're gonna split that 300 in half and save half there. And then as far as YouTube goes, I'm only going to take into account the taxes. And that was $49.89. So I take 20% basically, and I just send it off to a tax account. So let me see. Did I have, oh no, that's due next month. So 1, 2, 3. I'm just gonna skip a couple of lines just in case I have to like come back in later and write something. So August 26th to September 8th, $1158.88. And again, we have the budget. I like to put boxes next to my income because when I earn at least that much, I put a check mark. If I earn less than, I put an X. And that just helps me with like when I go back and kind of audit my budget planner, I can see like how well I'm doing with my estimates and stuff. Okay, so we got the budget of $605. And then we have the stock club at $20. And then club, not club. Dental insurance is gonna be $954. Then we have health insurance of $165.22. And then rent again of $150. And that should be all. Yes. All right. So on this page is where I literally subtract out each of the expenses. Oh, that's real crooked. I subtract out each of the expenses, and that will help me see if I'm negative in any paycheck, which typically I'm not, but we'll see. $1166.38, subtract the $605. And this is really good to do because like there were times in the past, especially when I still lived on my own and my rent was like way higher, that I would be negative in certain weeks. So what I would literally do is, like, let's say I was negative down here, I would move one of those bills, which it might, no, I won't be. I would move one of those bills and like pay it early so that I would not be as negative in that week. And, you know, I had enough money to cover that in a different week, but I usually don't have that problem anymore. All right, so taxes, after that's taken out, we already know that's $199.60. And when I did All right, last one, and then that's gonna be the end of the video, y'all. 5:53. So this Thursday is when you guys will get the paycheck the first paycheck to paycheck budget for August, and then next Tuesday will probably be the budget results video, and then Monday, and then next Thursday will be the sinking funds update, more than likely. Minus 150, so 209.12. So my budget is pretty balanced. As you guys can see, the difference in those numbers is not a lot. So the last thing I'm gonna do is take, oh, excuse me. Thank you. Take what I have left over with each paycheck and kind of plan what I'm gonna do with the money. So while I was not working, if you guys are new here, I did not have an income from my job for 8 weeks. I basically didn't work for 8 weeks. And so during that time, I had not been putting money into the stock market. And some people would be like, oh, you know, you should have still been investing. You had enough money. You could have took it out of your savings. I'm not someone who believes that you should do that, because anything can happen. So I could have lost money in the stock market. I could have had some kind of emergency where I absolutely needed that money. So I just decided that when my income started coming back in, like it is now, that I would start putting money back into my TD Ameritrade account to start investing again. So it's $199.60. 281.72. It's gonna get me the 690.44. And if you are wondering, because I do have people ask me this question, the difference in this number and this one, the only reason there is a difference is because, remember, when I did my checking percentage, I gave myself the extra $25 cushion. If you were to add that $25 here, that is what you would get to get that. So out of this, what I'm going to end up doing is sending $300 to my TD Ameritrade. And more than likely, I'll actually send more. And then that is going to leave me with $390.44. Usually whenever I send money off to savings, I send half of it to my miscellaneous / investment sinking fund, especially right now because I did take $2,700 out of that this month. You guys missed that video. That was actually my last video. Actually, it wasn't 27. Almost 2,000 of it was a tax refund, and then the rest of it was money that I had to take out to finish off that particular transaction. So I'm gonna split the remaining half between my car sinking fund and my travel sinking fund. So yeah, I put more money into the miscellaneous / investment sinking fund because I just feel like investments, that's the only way for you to eventually retire. Like, your money has to work for you. So whether I use that money as a down payment on a property, I put it in the stock market for long-term investments, I do something like this month where I needed to take the money out to invest in a new computer, whatever the case may be, I always invest in myself or in things that will help me to earn money in the long run. And then of course I always want to put money in my car sinking fund because me driving my car the way that I do, at some point I'm going to need maintenance. At some point I'm going to have to replace my car. I don't want to have to get back into debt if I need a new car. And then travel sinking fund, travel is important to me. Even though we can't travel right now, I'm still saving money towards it because when outside opens back up eventually, I'm going to be gone. Sorry y'all, that's my sister. She wasn't supposed to talk, so this was over. But anyway y'all, so that is what everything is looking like. This is my August budget. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, feel free to leave them down below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, but other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.